Here's another example. This guy is not going to stop. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, this is Bug. And on today's show, I wanted to share with you a little bit of a safety technique that I've used for years and years and years. It has saved me on countless occasions. It's a pretty obvious tip that most experienced riders probably know or just do it subconsciously, but for newer riders, it might not be so obvious. So I wanted to share it and show some examples of how I do it, and if it helps you, fantastic. Now, I'm not a motorcycle safety expert. I just happen to have a lot of experience on various types of roads, especially city riding, where this technique comes in incredibly handy. And for those of you following along at home, this city happens to be Portland, Oregon.
You may have heard on the news that it's a war zone and continually on fire. As of today, I haven't really seen any wars or fires, so I don't know. We'll ride around. You could be the judge, but I'm just saying, it's a pretty normal day here in Portland, Oregon. So the tip I wanted to share with you is this. When you're riding and you're approaching an intersection, or if there's a car like over here potentially turning in front of you, or basically any time you're on the road and there's another vehicle present, if you want to get an accurate idea of what the driver's intention is, keep an eye on their front wheel. Basically, the wheel that's closest to you. So if a car's approaching that car right there, I'm keeping an eye on that truck's front wheel, right? I know by looking at that front wheel whether the car is accelerating, decelerating, stopped, turning, planning to turn, all kinds of stuff just by looking at the front wheel. Now, you might ask, well, why not just look at the whole car? And sure, that's a valid question. And the answer is, when you're looking at the wheel of the car, you're seeing something that is rotating. And because it's rotating faster than the car is, moving, right? You can tell more accurately whether that car is moving fast, moving slow, or stopped. You can much more accurately tell if it's accelerating or decelerating by looking at the front wheel. So, when I approach an intersection like this, and there's a car that's also approaching the intersection, I've got my eyes focused on what's in front of me and focused on that front wheel, so I understand what that driver's intention is. I'll show you some examples. Look at this car that's got its reverse lights on right now. The first thing I'm doing as I approach this car, because I don't know what that person's intentions are, is I'm looking at their front wheel. I know that it's not moving. I know that it's pointed straight, so I pretty much don't have to worry about that car. I could have just looked at the car, but it's much easier to see what the intentions are by looking at that front wheel. Now, if I look at this front wheel, I see that it's turned in. If he backs up, the front of his car is going to come out into my lane. But I also noticed that that wheel isn't moving, so that was no threat to me. As I approach this intersection, I see that there's a Jeep over here. His wheel is not moving whatsoever, and it's pointed forward. So he's not about to pull out in front of me, probably, especially since he had his blinker on. So I know what he was mentally intending to do, and I know what he was physically doing. As we approach this intersection, there's a truck over here, and as I continue to move forward through the intersection, that front wheel is staying perfectly still. Usually what happens in intersections like this, and it drives me absolutely bonkers, is the driver, as soon as they think it's safe, will start edging forward, even if I haven't cleared the intersection. So as I'm clearing the intersection, this moron on the right, or whatever, is inching forward. So I keep an eye on that wheel to know whether it's going to start accelerating rapidly, or if he's just being a douchebag and doing what douchebags do. If he's just being a douchebag doing what douchebags do, I feel pretty safe in pulling forward through that intersection. But if I see that wheel starting to accelerate, I know that he hasn't seen me and I'm about to become a bug sandwich. Does this make sense? I'll try to show you some more examples if, we ever start moving again. What's up? Royal Enfield. I like it. So as we approach this intersection, I see this guy over here, his wheel's not moving, so I know that I'm safe to go. We approach this intersection, and there's this car edging its way out. Oh, now he's turning his wheel and pulling forward. Hey, just as a side note, I don't know if anyone cares, but I got heated grips. Had them installed at Sabatino Moto, and they're fantastic. Heated grips. Anyway, see, I'm watching that wheel. That guy never stopped. But I knew that he was slowing down. As soon as I got in front of him is when he started accelerating. But because I was in front of him and already moving forward, I knew I was safe. But again, there's a lot you can learn by just looking at that front wheel. So here's a good example of pulling up to an intersection where there are cars in front of me who are potentially taking a left in front of me. And so I'm keeping an eye on their wheels, especially Blinker Boy over here, to make sure that there's no sudden movements. But again, I'm keeping my focus really on what's in front of me, because if I didn't, I would have slammed into that Impala. And no one wants to die by slamming into a Impala. I mean, come on. So here's a perfect example. I've got this guy edging up. He's stopped. Now I'm making eye contact with him, so I know he sees me, and that front wheel is not moving, so I feel safe to go. But that could have gone either way. And that's what happens just about every day here in Portland. You'll see the car, they'll start edging up. I think I can get it. And at the very last minute, they'll decide, okay, maybe not. And they'll stop. But sometimes they make the other decision and decide to pull out right in front of you. And that's when seeing the rotation of the wheel comes in really handy, because you can tell much more easily whether that car is accelerating or decelerating. Here's an example of a car in front of me and a car over there. I'm keeping an eye more on this car than this car, because this car poses a more direct threat to me. I could tell that the driver of that car didn't have their wheel turned at an extreme angle, so I knew that they didn't really have an intention of gunning it to get in there. I also could tell that the wheel wasn't spinning, so I felt pretty safe going through. At the same time, I was keeping an eye on the guy that was over there, because, well, he didn't really look like he was paying attention. So it's intersections like that where you gotta sort of keep your eye on two sets of wheels. Anyway, that's the tip, and I hope it helped you, because I know that for thousands upon thousands of riding miles for me, it has certainly been a huge help. Here's another example. This guy is not going to stop. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, good times. Anyway, that's the tip. Watch that front wheel. It'll tell you a lot about what the driver's doing. Also, watch this video over here, because YouTube thinks you're really going to like it.